What are y'all spying on me now? I know what you're up to. You guys are trying to figure out my big secret. How's he catch all them catfish on the Mississippi River? And you think you're going to follow me around and find that out? Don't you know that catfishermen don't tell their secrets? Until now. Because Danny Stone ain't scared of no competition. And I'm going to give you the biggest tip I can of how I'm catching those big catfish on the Mississippi River and the common mistakes that most people are making. But before we do that, on all our videos, we're going to try to start doing the shout outs. And today our shout out goes to all my brothers from the 7th Infantry Division, Wolfhounds, United States Army, baby, veterans. This goes out to all you guys out there. I love you, 327 for life. Let's get into this, alright? One of the things you got to realize is, I'm going to have to hunker down here because my camera's too low. One of the things you've got to realize is that if you're going to catch these big catfish in the places that I'm catching these big catfish, is you've got to be willing to lose some sinkers. That's the clue right there. You've got to be willing to lose some sinkers. If you're not willing to lose sinkers, if you're one of those ones that goes, oh, I threw out there and I got hung up and I broke off, and I threw out there and I got hung up and broke off, and I can't catch fish there because all you do is get hung up. Here's what you got to do. First off, we're going to start with the proper rig for these catfish in those areas. Where I'm fishing is these rocky shorelines of the river. There's big giant boulders there, rocks. They dump them in there to keep the erosion down. Them catfish are laying up in between them rocks. They're traveling in and out of them rocks. That's where they're at. If you want to catch those big cats, you got to get in those freaking rocks. And I know it sucks. You're going to lose tackle. But I can reduce that by showing you the simple rig right here. What you want to start out with, let me get my camera adjusted here. Okay. Whoop. That pretty face in there. Well, this thing's just hard to work with. Get my camera adjusted. Okay. Number one, you want to get you a good, it's a 3-way swivel. Okay? 3-way swivel. This is key to this rig. Okay? You're going to tie the line here going to, this goes up to your rod and reel. Your main line going up to your rod and reel. You want this line to be, I'm going to say at least 20 pounds. You can get away with 15 or whatever, but 20 pounds minimum on that. You don't want to go overkill on this going to your rod and reel, okay? 20 pounds is fine. That's all the line you need. That comes off the top of the swivel here and goes up to your rod and reel. Second coming off of that, you've got on the other ring here, okay? You've got a line coming off here that's attached to a big circle hook. And I use circle hooks. All you people that don't know how to use circle hooks, let me tell you about circle hooks. Okay? You don't grab that rod up and jerk it and set the hook. You will pull this hook out of their mouth. But if you watch my hand, if that catfish grabs that hook and he starts pulling, look at that. It grabs him in the mouth every time. I don't know how if I get to see that. Right there. I can drop that hook down there. Doggone, I almost got it dug in my hand. Look here, the catfish, he comes up and he grabs that line, or he grabs that bait, and when he pulls away, that hook will turn and get in him every time. You ain't got to jerk the rod. Just pick it up and start reeling it in. Okay? And I'm going to have to start over because I got off on hooks and got into a different subject. So we're going to backtrack a little bit. 3-way swivel. Okay? 3-way swivel. Very important. The first line coming up goes to your rod and reel. The second line coming off there goes to your hook. 20 pounds monofilament or braid going to your rod and reel. 20-pound line going to your rod and reel. Now, going to this hook. Okay? You want to bump it up a bit. Let's go 30, 40, 50 pound line here. Make it heavy. You want that going to that hook, okay? You want that going to the hook. You want heavier line on that, because them catfish teeth, they get a hold of that and rub that line and they'll break it off. And we're going to get back to that here in a second. But you want heavier line going to your hook coming off the swivel. On your third little loop here, you're going to have another line coming down. And it's going to go to a sinker. Okay? Your third line goes to the sinker. It comes off. So you go, this goes to your rod, that goes to your hook, that goes to your sinker. Now, I said 20 pound line going to the rod. You've got 30, 40, or 50 pound line going to the hook. Very important here, on that third swivel, that third loop, going to your sinker, you want light line. If I'm using 30 pound line on my hook, if I've got 30 pound line on my hook, I will go half that on my sinker. I will go 15 pound line on my sinker. Now I'm going to tell you why. Because whenever you're throwing out there in the river, alright, this sinker is dragging along there and it's going to get caught in them rocks. It's going to get stuck in them rocks. I'm telling you. It's just going to happen. That's fine. Okay? Because then your line's going to tighten up with the current and it's going to pull your main line between that sinker, and I really should have cut these shorter for demonstration purposes, but your sinker's down here, there's your main line, and the current's pulling it. That's got this hook just drifting around, okay, like that in the current. It's just drifting around. Alright? Now that catfish is going to come up, he's going to grab that hook, bam, he's going to grab it, and he's going to take off. Well, this sinker, don't forget, it's hung in the freaking rocks. Alright? You're going to lose this sinker. If you want to catch a big catfish, you're going to lose this sinker. Because when it's caught in them rocks, that catfish is going to pull and pull and pull. And because you've got 30 pound line on your hook and 15 pound line on your sinker, that line's going to break. Okay? And you're going to lose the sinker. But you still got 20 pound line attached to your rod, which is hooked to a 30 pound line that is attached to your hook. Okay? Here's your rod. It's pulling, pulling, pulling. And here's your hook. And it's pulling, pulling. The sinker is broke off and gone. But now you're attached directly from the hook to your rod with 20 pound line and a 30 pound leader. If you're not willing to lose these sinkers, you're not willing to catch these big catfish. Now, if you're one of the people that throw out there and reel in because you're not getting a bite, and throw out there and reel in because you're not getting a bite, you're going to lose a crap load of these sinkers. Throw the cotton picking thing out there in a good spot. Let it sit. Let that bait sit. This sinker is a given. It's gone. Write it off the books, okay? Leave it out there. And when that catfish gets on there, you're not even going to feel him until he pulls tight on that sinker line and breaks it. When he breaks that sinker off, then he's directly tied to you and your rod. The sinker's out the way. And you got it, okay? If you are one of them people that want to reel in, my suggestion to you is, if you throw out there and you got to reel in, get that rod up real high, real fast, and reel. You've got to get this sinker off the bottom away from them rocks, or it's just going to drag along the bottom, get hung up, and you lost it. But the key to it is 3-way swivel, 15 pound test on your sinker, 30 pound test on your hook, 20 pound test going to your rod. That's all there is to it. You throw it out there and leave it alone, lose that sinker, catch that fish. I hope this all made sense to you. I really should have shortened this up a little bit so that I could hold it up there and show you. Now, one more thing I want to touch on. Okay? When you've got your swivel here, God, I hope y'all can see that. Okay, there you go. You got your swivel here. This line here is going to your rod. Now, Also the one going to your hook, you want it to be shorter than the one going to your sinker. So I've got a 30-pound leader with my hook on it, a 15-pound string going to my sinker, and my sinker is hanging below the hook. This string here's got to be longer, so it'll get down there and get them rocks, and this will hold up higher above the rocks. I keep going wrong way on the camera. This will hold up higher on the rocks and float around in the current for that fish to find it. I hope that all made sense to you. If it didn't, comment down below. I will remake this video. I'm not doing a professional video where I edit it out and stuff. I'm just sitting in my camper and throwing this together for you. But to catch those big catfish, use that rig. Fish them rocky areas, the rocky banks. Throw it out there. Leave it the heck alone. Stop reeling in every 5 minutes because I ain't catching nothing. Let me reel it in. I gotta check my bait. Let me reel it in. Get it out there and let it soak. Leave it alone. Let your rod do its work. Let your hook do its work. Let the rig do its work. And start reeling in some of them big catfish. Okay? You're not out there trying to catch enough fish to feed 500 people. Okay? You're out there to sit down, relax, catch some fish, and have a good time. If you catch a few that you want to take home and eat, that's fine. But you're not out there mass producing or, what am I trying to say here? You're not running a fish market. Okay? So calm down. Enjoy your time on the river. Throw it out there. Sit back. Watch the birds fly by. Watch the barges go by. You know, whatever. I don't care if you watch ants crawling on a piece of popcorn you dropped on the ground. Leave the dadgum line alone. If you're there for more than 30 minutes to an hour and you got a couple rods out and you ain't got no bite, pull them up and move somewhere else. Okay? But the thing is, people get impatient and they pull them rods in too quick. Stop doing it. You're killing yourself. But fish those rocks and be willing to lose the sinkers. I may have a little advantage on you because I make these myself and I got a whole truckload of them. I've got them in 3 ounce, 4 ounce, and 5 ounce. I've got my own mold, my own lead, and so I can lose all the sinkers I want. Fish the rocky areas where you're going to lose tackle. I've had a couple of my buddies that's fished that and said, man, I can't fish there. There's too many rocks. I get hung up and I'm losing my dadgum rigs. I'm losing my hook. I'm losing my sinker stuff. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Put it out there. And what am I going to say? Leave it alone. Okay? There's my tip for today on a 3-way swivel rig. 3-way swivel. 20-pound going to your rod and reel. 30-pound going to the hook. 15-pound going to the sinker. The sinker string has to be longer, sometimes twice as much longer as the one going to the hook, so that sinker will get down them rocks. You want it to get down there and get stuck and hold your bait so it's spinning around in the current like that, because the sinker's down in the rocks and you got the line pulled tight, and so this is lifted up and it's swinging around. If you've got this the same length as if you've got the hook line, the line going to the hook, if you got it the same length, dadgum, I can't get a hold of this crap. I'm going to have to get this hook in my hand. If you've got this hook line, okay, the same length as, let me pull it up here, as that sinker line, guess what? This and this are going to get caught in the rocks. That's why you make this one shorter. Sinker down there, hook up here. Okay? Let the sinker get caught in the rocks. Pull your line tight. Okay, after it's get caught in the rock, leave it alone. If you pull and that rod's bending until I'm hung up, leave it alone. Because that means that sinker's got to hold the rock and it's hanging on tight. And because that line's tight, when that catfish grabs this hook, he's going to pull your rod. And if it's a big catfish, he's going to break that sinker off. When he gets on there and he pulls on that 15-pound test line, sinker comes off there. Now, your hook's still tied to your rod. See that? I just broke that sinker off. I ain't going to do it with this 30-pound line. Number one, I can't break that 30-pound line, snap it like that. Number two, I'll put that big son of a gun right through my hand, and I don't feel like going to the hospital tonight. That's Danny Stone's tip for today on catching them big catfish in the rocks. You got to fish the rocks. I know this video was just very off the wall. I'm rambling and going on and stuff, but y'all wanted to know. You keep asking me, how is he catching those fish? And I've seen the spots that he fishes at. I ain't never done nothing but get hung up there. Now you know. Be willing to throw a few of these away. Be willing to throw your rod out there and leave it alone, and you'll start catching some of those big old catfish. I'm Danny Stone, Danny Stone Outdoors. God bless you. We love you, and we'll see you again real soon.